Hello, November Fox 13 here, just getting my microphone in order. Some more Unite replays. In this case I'll be doing 2 ones where I won and one where I lost as well, but still played relatively good. But anyway, I'll be starting with, most of these are on the rank of veteran, by the way, because I dropped down to that from Ultra, so I just don't like the rank system much, but I rank up as much as I have to. Might want to be a master at this rank, master rank at some point, just to prove a point. But anyway, this is a match, and it's going to be with Sylveon, so I'm definitely recording. Anyway, this match with Sylveon should be interesting, because if I recall from the replay or whatever, that basically I remembered to do something that I should be doing with my Sylveon. One, I built it properly. Turns out Sylveon, you want the new item and you want the Shell Bell on to maximise her Hyper Voice cooldown, and you want a Buddy Barrier or an XP share, depending on the situation, but Buddy Barriers for her Unite, obviously. But another thing I remembered to do in this particular one is I remembered to basically smurf my opponent. Turns out when you take the bottom goal, the first thing you should be thinking of is stealing their bottom farms while you're at it. That's why you'll sometimes see players go for their bottom farms while they're defending the goal, to stop you from taking them away from them. And I think in our competition matches, me and Team Diamond, we keep forgetting to take the farms at the bottom and smurf them. So when we're taking a bottom goal, always remember to smurf your opponent. One of the players should be taking their farms. So in this case I have a realisation. He's abandoned, so I'm stealing his farms. Because the other great thing about Sylveon's Hyper Voice is, yeah, she may not have the most powerful attack, but she can very, very easily steal farms in passing. So if you're passing through the jungle, you can use the Hyper Voice to steal the bees while you keep running. And that means that basically, as you rotate through the jungle, you've just got to remember to steal their farms in passing. And that, I think, is what we haven't been doing as well as we should be. I haven't been abusing my Sylveon's Hyper Voice to steal farms while I'm passing through the jungle on a rotation. This time, I'm remembering to steal. At the same time, they seem to have rotated. Yeah, we've done a brilliant job. The combination of me and the Mamoswine, we've basically created a situation where the Score Bunny is still, well, a Score Bunny. So he isn't getting off his evolution. And of course, I also noticed that pretty early on that the Mamoswine player was running for the goal, so he was stacking. There we go. And of course, remember to steal the farms first and foremost. Go for the goal, but steal the farms as well. It turns out, if you haven't got enough points to score, it's more worthwhile to steal their farms from them and just shrink them, basically. That's what kept happening to us. Of course, they're all down bot, and because they've been losing the farms, they can't even win in a three-way gank. They're all running top now. So, yeah, I steal the bees. Once again, always remember the Sylveon. Steal if you can. Yep, and then steal the bees just to make absolutely sure. I want to keep them shrunk. Yeah, this is just not nice for them. Yeah, he's finally got his second evolution, but the constant farm stealing is just keeping them tiny. Yeah, there we go. And again, steal their NDDs from them. Because they're the farms of desperation. Whip through the jungle. Yep, I'm just bullying them now. I'm not the level I'd like to be though, so I got to get back to the Mamoswine. And yeah. Again, as I stated, this is a replay. I'm not actually playing the game at the moment, I'm showing the replay of one of my matches. So I can figure out why I was successful this match with my Sylveon. And it comes to one conclusion. Sylveon can be abused for farm stealing in the passing. Every time you take a bottom goal, the priority should be to smurf your opponent. Yep, just keep shrinking them. They're all wanting to go top, so we're all rotating through the jungle, and I take the opportunity to make sure that they don't get the bees on the way. After all, I'm going to have to turn up behind anyway, so just take as many bees as I can, and then run to the top. Unfortunately, they get the Regalecki. Not that it's going to matter, because I corner them with a Unite. And of course, we're all stupidly over-leveled, and my Sylveon is got plenty of HP because of the combination of the Shell Bell and the Bracer to improve cooldown and attack, and I can just keep pumping my Calm Mind now. Use the X speeds to get somewhere fast. And down and away from the Machamp. I've got enough points, so I'm going to try to score. I think I get caught beforehand though. Yeah, excellent timing. That was a good move by the Greninja there, so. It's a shame, because that would have broken the goal. What is our enemy up? Yeah, they're finally getting their farms in. And the Ziora is just over there and he's jungling like crazy. I pop over to run through the goal zone. Okay. Ray's gonna come soon, but to be honest with you, at this point in time, we were none too fussed. Or at least the team I was playing with was none too fussed. And of course the Cinderace is trying to score, but I prioritise stealing their farms, because the one thing we've done well is keeping them small. And of course, quick small point score, and hurt as many of them as possible on my way out. Force them to retreat. Now we just rip it. Me and Mr. Mime. I do a bit of a bad Unite here, I think. But I do it anyway. And of course we get the shield. They decided not to go for the ray at all at that point. In this case, since the Mr. Mime was already going for the goal, I sped towards the centre. And hit the goal. At this point, I decided it would be better for me to just go back and defend for a while. So at some point I teleport, because I have no points at all, and of course they're all back there. So I just port, and I come in. He's already going to break the goal. Yeah, he breaks the goal here. So I run down here to chase the Zora, or the Zora. Chase them to go get their farms. And I run down the Zora for good measure. And I decide to just go straight to the centre. And start abusing the Venusaur. Not perfect. But all in all, it was game over by this point.
5, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
So that was entertaining. So that was one round run. Now we're going to balance this out. This is the, where is it? There was one with the Gardevoir. That was a Zacian, a Gardevoir. Yeah. That's a win, win. That was the lose. Yeah, that was the one. So this is me playing as a Gardevoir this time, which I played a few days ago as a test. And of course, infinityloom should be playing as the Mamoswine. He's one of our one of our more experienced team members, alongside our leader Diamond, of course. And I am playing the Gardevoir because he wants to see how I play it. I still lose this match, but all in all, it goes pretty well. You know, we don't do badly. So I'm following the Mamoswine. I want to see what my teammates are doing, or what the enemy team's doing. Yeah, they're going through the motions. So we're all playing conventional right now. Loom and his Swinub. Yeah, Loom's Swinub was probably tempting very, very much so to go and stack, probably. And of course, I can abuse the teleport at this stage. Now you see, those speedsters that like to stack in the early game, because they've all turned into murder hobos ever since they got that bracer, they like to turn up in this specific part of the game, and they usually like to go farm kills. So they often strike at the lane, because this point in the match is usually a jousting match. Everyone's sniping each other and everyone's running away with low health. If a speedster wants to farm using the Excel Bracer, they'd usually do it around about this point early on. I've got Side Shock now, yeah. Which I'm going to abuse the heck out of. The Machamp. There we go. The Gudra and the thing are stacking the goal as much as they can. They're getting their stacks in. I'm down here, and yeah, the Ninja Doll I'm not that good with. You can tell it was my first time using it. But it did help me stall from time to time. Lovely. Let's see what's going on in the top lane. Yeah, this is a pretty standard playstyle you're dealing with, where they're all just running down the centre of the lane. Not like what we encountered in the competition, where they were coming out the jungle. Yeah, that's the point I died. I'm just level 8 at the moment. Yeah, and they both score at the bottom, yeah. And they're all going after that. And I go run to the top. Let the Mama Swine stay down there. So I'm running to the top and I'm stealing the bees at the rotation, yeah. You see, in these matches, Infinity and me, we were communicating via the chat, not via the Discord, so that means that everything was being done where I have to make my own decisions, basically. And as you can see, abuse of the Ninja Doll. That was a bad move. I should have kept my distance. Yeah, they're all ganking the top now. They're all just piling on. Keep minding my distance. And there was a lovely snipe on the Gudra. And of course they've got the Regelki. But what's the point? There's nothing for them to score. Yeah, I just ran back behind them, didn't I? Yeah. What's the point? Let the Delphox handle it. Yeah, that's what I did, yeah. Yeah, I realised the Delphox was about to handle it and she was on her own, so I let the Delphox handle. Unfortunately... Come on, Delphox. Can you do it, Delphox? Can you do it? No, they're going to do it. They're going to take the top goal. Yeah, they took the top goal, yeah. Started getting our farms in. Use that XP share to up my level, yeah. Well, the XP share on the Mum Swine. And of course I port. There was no point in me staying there. And now, yeah, I take the bees while I can. Because I had the opportunity. And then I leave the bees. And I work out the Regalecki's being harassed, or they're hanging around there looking for it, yeah. But at the moment they're all at the bottom. Yeah, it's a party. The defender's having to loan a lot of them. Oh, no, he has a Speedster for support. And the Blissey as well. Nope, the Blissey's the enemy team. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I get caught there being a silly boy. You never want to get too close with the Gardevoir. They score the bottom. Yeah. Seeing what went wrong here. Suicune does his best. Yeah. And I pop the Psyshock out, yeah. I stay back. I kill them in transit. And the T-Tar goes down, yeah. I abuse the Shedinjadol. And it makes the Caesar walk. Mm. The Talonflame's doing his best. We're all a good level, so the Talonflame certainly is. Yep. Okay. Suicune does his best, and of course there I am with the Gardevoir. And I try to keep my distance behind the wall, and I pop the Psyshock. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what we wanted. Let them chase the T-Tar, and I start ripping. I keep coasting with the Psyshock. Because why the heck not? Now at this point, Infinity told me I should have tried to score, and they're probably right. It's last 30 seconds, why would I be contesting this? At the same time, if they got that Ray, they'd score and win anyway, so I decided to jig them as much as I could. But they got the score in the end.
4, 3, 2,
Oh, no. But yeah, we lost that match. But on the other hand, I am still proud of stalling with the Gardevoir. Even if it probably wasn't the right thing to do. My other match with Infinity was with my Alolan Ninetales, I recall. Is that Infinity? Yeah, I played the 9 and Infinity played his Talonflame. Yeah, that was me, yeah. So that's a favourite of mine. And that's also a favourite. And that's my favourite losing one. Right. Watch my playthrough with the 9. You can also tell I've got the membership now. But now that I'm recording these, that means I can keep them. So even if my membership isn't on auto renew, if I lose the replays, I've got them in the form of a YouTube channel, I guess. Okay. Once again, I'd be sitting in veteran rank. However, I'm playing with a master rank. So that means that the person I'm playing with is the higher rank. Because he's a master at the time, I think. Or no, he was not a master, he's probably either vet or ultra. Because the new season started. Either way, that's probably where we're sitting right now. So I'm going to meet some normally higher than usual quality opponents. But I'm still in the lower tier. I want to see how Infinity jungles while I'm at it. Yeah, I'm contesting the top. And then he's coursing through the jungle. But Infinity is not very... well, he's not very stealthy. You know, ideally, junglers should be hiding in the grass more often. trying to hide their movements. I've noticed Infinity isn't particularly stealthy in the way he moves in the jungle, which means his movements are easy to track. Yeah, he's waiting to ambush. Ah, of course, that is the problem with the 9, isn't it? Yeah, I can't keep remembering that. There's no point hiding with Ninetales, because if something gets too close, they instantly get hit by the ice. It also makes it difficult for 9 to run past farms, because unfortunately 9, although the Ninetales' tendency is that she causes frost to everything that gets close to her. So when that happens, it can actually trigger farms to attack. And it can also, unfortunately, reveal your position in the grass, which is why hiding with 9 is actually a little bit pointless. You can't let your opponent stream by and take from behind. They get too close, they'll instantly know you're there because you'll start frosting them. That's something to note. So 9 should be hiding the furthest back at all times. That is an important bit of information. There's my opponent's Pupitar and their Espeon. I snatched a low level farm and I left the big one to Infinity. Yeah, I'm sitting up the top right now. Yes, Infinity's playing a little more less hidden or disguised. He's playing for speed, mostly, by the looks of it. I'm still only level 6, which is far from ideal. Because I wasn't cottoning on to smurfing the farms yet. You'll notice that I usually play Aura Veil and Dazzling Gleam, but I've since realised why a lot of people play the Ice Wall build, because the Ice Wall is essentially very useful. It turns Ninetales into a more effective long-range defender, or long-range defence, than Mr. Mime is. Mr. Mime's barrier is a bit of a joke. So, if you're going to choose a character to use barriers with, you might actually be better off using 9. Because of Mr. Mime's barriers that decide whether or not they want to work. Jungler's chasing down the T-Tar. Yeah. And of course, we take the top. I drop the Ice Wall, and they've all run away. Yeah, they're coming from the sides or trying to, but that was pretty useless, unfortunately. That was far from ideal. And I decide to run the other way. They're going to win that Regelki after all, or Regalecki, sorry. I keep calling it Regelki, it's just easier. Yeah, I come in with the Ninetales, and then the T-Tar's in the grass. He comes after me, which was silly of me, but I push him away. And then I Ice Wall him. And then Infinity gets him. That's funny. And of course, we score. The bottom's about to appear. I could have just leapt into the grass, but I decide to wall the T-Tar. Because that's one party trick I love to do. If I've got moves like that, I love to landmine. Just drop things down to delay people. And then keep dragging him. Give up on the goal zone then. Yeah, hopefully, Diamond, you can see what I mean when the new meta's full of jungle attackers. Using Ninetales in a right angle and abusing the ice wall might be a way to survive. Because the jungle attackers kept ganking the centre of the lane when we were doing competition. Okay. They're all busy with the Regolecki. And of course I decide to wall the T-Tar. Because I was paying attention to the map. Which may be something to do with the fact that I wasn't talking in this match. I was purely in the chat from time to time. So I had to do everything by eye and by the map and by my own physical skills. Turns out concentrating on 3 things at once is difficult. And then wall the Espeon to protect the Blissey. Yep. Walls make a great deterrent. Yeah, we're gonna get it anyway. They may have got it, but they paid a high price to get that. They should have probably, in the enemy team's shoes, they should have probably backed away and chased after and went to wait for the way. And they were already committed at the time. Hide. Okay. Bully the Wigglytuff. Prevent the Wigglytuff from arriving. Swing round. And this is the part where I wall the Wigglytuff again. Just to make sure... Yeah, that was a bad unite. I was very, very not proud of myself for that. I panicked and I united too early. But I basically did everything in my power with the ice wall. And I tried to prevent the Wigglytuff from basically turning up at all and getting the support. And then, of course, the rest of my team came in and snagged it. Because I realised if that Wigglytuff had turned up, it would have dropped its unite, or dropped its support, and it would have caused problems. So all I could do in that situation was wall it off and prevent it from reaching its destination. That's the thing. The ice wall is brilliant for stalling, and if stalling is one thing I do well. And of course, Infinity scores anyway. I iced the Zacian, and Infinity takes him out. And I decide to pressure the farm. But the Tyranitar gets me anyway. And Inf charges in for the goal. So that was a brilliant play from Inf. Yeah, Inf is just pressuring the goal now. And that's probably because he's the one with the score shield. And all my teammates are just waiting to defend now. Yeah. They know they've already won. So yeah, that's a rather lovely set of Unite replays. Hopefully I did relatively well. And learned some things, especially that match with the Sylveon. Turns out you've always got to remember when breaking a bottom goal, or top goal, if you're breaking the first goal, steal the farms. The person who's lowest on points should be stealing their bottom farm to keep them shrunk. And I should be always using my hyper voice and my ridiculous cooldown thanks to the bracer and the Shell Bell, and I should be using the Hyper Voice to just mass steal farms while moving backwards. Anyway, November Fox 13. These were some of your night replays, and signing out.